HOA VP trespassed and threatened my dog's cops arrived fast and hauled her off in cuffs. Have you ever felt the primal fear of someone threatening your beloved family? Those innocent creatures who rely on you for their safety, all because of a twisted sense of power and entitlement? I'm Sarah Jensen, and my home, a charming cottage nestled at the edge of the meticulously manicured community of Willow Creek Estates, was my sanctuary. It wasn't just a house. It was a home for my two beloved rescue dogs, Buster and Daisy, a pair of boisterous but gentle German shepherds. They were my shadows, my protectors, and a constant source of joy. Our backyard, a spacious, securely fenced haven, was their domain, complete with a custom-built agility course and plenty of space to run. Then, Ms. Victoria Sterling arrived. Victoria, the newly elected vice president of the Willow Creek Estates Homeowners Association, saw my well-loved dogs not as cherished family members, but as unacceptable nuisances. She was all sharp angles and sharper pronouncements, a woman whose perfectly coiffed blonde hair and designer activewear screamed unapproachable perfection. Her first official act, it seemed, was to send me a curt, imperious letter demanding the immediate removal of my dogs from the property. They were, according to her, excessively loud, a clear danger to community children, and a blatant violation of Willow Creek's aesthetic guidelines, despite never having caused any issues or complaints from other neighbors. Her ultimate, thinly veiled demand was for me to rehome my dogs, effectively stripping my life of its most joyful companions. Her tone was dripping with condescension, her words a thinly veiled threat against everything I held dear. She looked at Buster and Daisy, loyal and loving, as if they were a festering wound on the pristine landscape she envisioned. I tried to reason with her, calmly explaining that my dogs were well-trained, rarely barked, and were always supervised. I even provided their veterinary records, proof of their vaccinations, and testimonials from neighbors who adored them. Victoria merely waved a dismissive hand, her perfectly manicured, nails glinting. "Ms. Jensen," she purred, her voice a brittle whisper of disdain. "Your canine companions are simply not suited for the elevated standards of Willow Creek. We are building a community of distinction, and frankly, your noisy beasts detract from our property values. The bylaws are clear. Pets must not be a nuisance." Her words, delivered with an air of unassailable authority, left no room for debate. She was not interested in facts or empathy. She was interested in control and conformity. The true nightmare began on a sunny Tuesday afternoon. I was inside, working on my laptop, when the security camera alert on my phone buzzed. My heart pounded with a mix of fury and disbelief as I watched the live feed. Victoria Sterling, in her pristine white tennis outfit, was standing in my backyard, directly inside my securely fenced property. She wasn't just observing. She was actively provoking Buster and Daisy, who were barking furiously from behind the safety of their dog run, clearly agitated by her unauthorized presence. She was waving a small, shiny object at them, and I could hear her shrill voice through the camera's microphone. "Quiet, you brutes. One more bark, and I'll have you put down myself." My blood ran cold. This wasn't just trespass. It was a direct threat, a malicious attempt to terrorize my dogs. As I watched, horrified, Victoria, seemingly emboldened by their agitated barking, took a step closer to the dog run, her hand reaching into her pocket. Just then, a glint of red caught my eye. Tucked into the bushes near the dog run was a small, high-definition drone, its tiny red light blinking. My blood ran cold. I quickly rewound the security camera footage, and a quick check of the drone's footage revealed a shocking truth. The drone, which I had secretly installed weeks ago after noticing suspicious activity near my property line, had captured everything from a different angle. The video, timestamped just moments before, showed Victoria not just provoking my dogs, but actively sprinkling a handful of what looked like small, dark pellets near their water bowl. She was planning to poison them. And then, the chilling climax, her ungraceful, almost triumphant smirk as she threatened them, captured in glorious high definition. And then, a chilling detail. The drone also captured a brief, whispered phone conversation Victoria had just before entering my yard. She was speaking to a man I recognized as Mr. Harrison, the head of Elite Pet Solutions, a company known for its aggressive tactics in animal control and highly priced rehoming services. They were discussing the final phase of their plan to acquire a large section of the neighborhood's common green space, claiming it was underutilized and that my dogs were an impediment to their plans. The green space, I knew, was a vital community resource, hosting weekly farmers markets and providing a natural drainage area for the entire community. Victoria's plan was to convert it into a private, members-only dog park, with Elite Pet Solutions receiving a lucrative contract for its exclusive access and monitoring, a park that would explicitly ban large breeds like mine. This wasn't just about my dogs. It was a calculated, high-stakes conspiracy, threatening not only my family, but a vital public resource and the community's shared green space. Armed with this irrefutable evidence, the security camera footage of her trespass and threats, the drone footage of her attempting to poison my dogs, and her incriminating phone call, and my detailed knowledge of the community's common areas, I immediately called 911. While waiting for the police, I resolved to confront Victoria publicly. I learned she had called an emergency HOA meeting, ostensibly to present a new community initiative, the Willow Creek Exclusive Dog Park, and to address the ongoing issue with Ms. Jensen's dangerous dogs. I arrived, my evidence ready, just as Victoria, radiating an almost unbearable smugness, began her presentation, complete with glossy renderings of the new dog park sprawling across what she claimed was underutilized HOA land. I waited for a lull, then stood up, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. "Victoria," I stated, holding up my tablet with the security camera video paused on her mid-trespass face. "I believe this footage and your recent actions sheds a rather inconvenient light on your dog park initiative." Her eyes, which had been sparkling with self-satisfaction, immediately narrowed. She quickly recovered, her voice sharp. "Ms. Jensen, I have no idea what you're talking about. This is a private HOA matter. You are disrupting our proceedings, and your dramatics are quite unnecessary." She attempted to rally the other HOA members, painting me as a disgruntled, melodramatic dog owner, a nuisance to their refined community. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, this is precisely the kind of element we are trying to remove from our beautiful Willow Creek. But just as she was about to call for me to be removed, a quiet, unassuming woman named Dr. Anya Sharma, a renowned urban planner and environmental advocate who lived in Willow Creek and had been quietly researching the HOA's land dealings, rose from her seat. "Actually, Ms. Sterling," Dr. Sharma interjected, her voice calm but authoritative, "Ms. Jensen raises a very serious point. And I also have something to add." She then projected a series of topographical maps onto the screen, clear, undeniable images showing the common green space as a designated public easement and a critical floodplain. "This proposed dog park," Dr. Sharma continued, her voice gaining strength, "is a direct violation of county zoning laws and environmental regulations. It threatens to exacerbate flooding in lower-lying areas of this community and would illegally privatize public land." A collective gasp rippled through the room. Before Victoria could even stammer a denial, the doors to the community hall swung open. Two stern-faced police officers, accompanied by a representative from Animal Control, walked in. They had been dispatched after my 911 call and had reviewed the initial security footage I sent. "Victoria Sterling," one of the officers announced, his voice devoid of emotion, "you are under arrest for criminal trespass, attempted animal cruelty, and conspiracy to commit fraud. We have irrefutable video evidence, and a full investigation into Elite Pet Solutions and your alleged land deals is underway." Victoria's face, which had been a mask of carefully constructed composure, crumbled into a terrified, pale mess. Her jaw went slack, her eyes darting wildly around the room, searching for an escape that wasn't there. She stammered, then erupted into a desperate, high-pitched shriek, blaming misunderstandings, overzealous contractors, and a misunderstanding of the bylaws. It was the pathetic wail of a tyrant whose kingdom had suddenly collapsed. Then, a surprising voice emerged from the crowd. Mr. Davies, a long-standing, quiet member of the HOA board and a respected local real estate agent, stood up, his face etched with regret. "And Ms. Sterling," he said, his voice trembling slightly, "perhaps you'd also like to explain why you pushed so hard for this dog park project." not for the community's benefit, but because Elite Pet Solutions, the company you're so eager to partner with, is secretly owned by your estranged sister, and you intended to use this deal to secure a massive personal commission and a controlling interest in her future projects, all under the guise of community enhancement. The revelation hung in the air, a final, poisoned arrow. Victoria had been exploiting the HOA not for the community's benefit, but for her own illicit financial gain and to secure her sister's failing business. The fallout was swift and brutal. Victoria was immediately stripped of her HOA vice presidency, her reign ending in public humiliation and a perp walk captured by local news. The police and animal control launched a full-scale investigation, leading to severe fines and criminal charges for trespass, attempted animal cruelty, environmental violations, and attempted land appropriation. Elite Pet Solutions, facing legal repercussions and public outrage, immediately lost their lucrative contracts and faced a barrage of investigations, leaving Victoria utterly isolated and financially ruined. She lost her position, her reputation, her social standing, and faced a future of crushing debt and legal battles. Her karma was a public, humiliating spectacle, a direct consequence of her petty tyranny and audacious fraud. I felt a profound sense of vindication, a quiet triumph that justice, however painfully achieved, had prevailed. Buster and Daisy, oblivious to the drama, were safe and sound, their backyard sanctuary more secure than ever. The community, shaken but united, began the process of rebuilding trust and respecting the delicate balance of property rights and the environment. In a world where bureaucratic power can become a weapon and individual ego can endanger an entire community, where do we draw the line between upholding rules and protecting personal property and the environment? When faced with such blatant disregard for rights, safety, and the well-being of innocent creatures, what would you have done?